Okay, if you are in 7 Excel, we are working from the Advanced 2 textbook. If you are in Math 8, this is not in your textbook. So you will have to either use the online textbook, the online Big Ideas Advanced 2 textbook, which you have access to, or you can click on the link in the agenda and the book pages are there. So we are doing lesson 12.2. It can be found on pages 510 and 511. And today we're going to be talking about complementary and supplementary angles. So what is a complementary angle? Complementary angles are two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. Complementary angles, two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. Okay. So we have a 30-degree angle. And we have a 60-degree angle. So a 30-degree angle plus a 60-degree angle equals a 90-degree angle. So this is what complementary angles are. They're two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. And how do we know a 90-degree angle? It's equal to 90 degrees, but it's usually marked with a box like that. It lets you know that it's a 90-degree angle, like the corner of a piece of paper. So that's complementary angles. Let's talk about supplementary angles. What are supplementary angles? Supplementary angles are two angles whose sum is 180 degrees. So So 135 degrees plus 45 degrees equals 180 degrees. That's it. That's complementary and supplementary angles. So how do we remember this? Well, there's a few different ways of remembering this. Some people think, okay, C comes before S in the alphabet. And 90 comes before 180. So some people choose to remember complementary and supplementary this way. C comes before S in the alphabet and 90 comes before 180. That's how some people remember it. When I was a kid, I remembered it C, the C here looked like the C of the 90, and S for supplementary, the S for supplementary looked like the S of the 8. So when I was a kid, this is how I remembered it. Other people remember it by thinking of the alphabet, and you may have your own unique way of remembering it. You just need to remember that complementary is two angles whose sum is 90 degrees, and supplementary is two angles whose sum is 180 degrees. So what does this mean in the term, like in terms of algebra? Why do we need to know complementary and supplementary angles when we're talking about algebra? Okay. Well, we have an angle that looks like this, and they tell us it is a 90-degree angle because they've given us that corner right there. And they say this is 36 degrees, and this is 4x degrees. Well, we know that this whole thing is 90 degrees. The whole thing is 90 degrees. And how do we know that? Well, if we have a circle and we divide that circle into 4, we're not dealing with this part. We're only dealing with this part right here. Do you see how this matches this? Well, this is 1/4 of a circle. A circle is 360 degrees. So 1/4 of a circle is 90 degrees. So 1/4 of a circle is 90 degrees. So that means this whole thing here is 90 degrees. Well, knowing that, we can now say 36 degrees plus 4x degrees equals 90 degrees. And at this point, it's basic algebra. I want to isolate my variable. So I'm going to subtract 36 from this side. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. I still want to isolate my variable. So I want to get rid of this times 4. I'm going to divide by 4. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. You could say 13.5 or 13.5. So x is 13.5 or 13.5. So this is 36 degrees, and 4 times 13.5 is 54 degrees. That's 54 degrees. Or the value of x is 13.5. So that's how we can use complementary angles. Let's do another example. Okay, the book gives us a picture that looks like this. And they tell us this is x minus 4 degrees, and this is x degrees. Okay, but how do we do this? I don't have any numbers to work with. Well, actually we do. See that? We know if we have a circle, and this is a straight line, we use a straight line through the circle. We're not dealing with this part. So a straight line through a circle cuts that circle in half, right? So if the circle is 360 degrees and we're cutting it in half, that means this is 180 degrees and this is 180 degrees. So this whole part right here, see that, is 180 degrees. So now we can say x minus 4 plus x equals 180 degrees. Now, I don't have to use these parentheses because I don't have anything being multiplied. I can combine my like terms. I want to isolate my variables. So I'm going to add 4 here. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. I still want to isolate my variable. I'm going to divide by 2. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. X equals 92. So with that being said, x, this is 92 degrees, and this is 92 minus 4, 88 degrees. So we now know how many degrees each side is. And we use the idea that this is a supplementary, these are supplementary angles. These two angles, when added together, equal 180 degrees. So that is what we are doing for the lesson today. That's the whole lesson, complementary and supplementary angles.